All right, well, President Trump making his message to the Assad regime very clear. As long as they use chemical weapons, the U.S. is prepared to respond.
The president says he's not an interventionist, but this is the second time he's taken action in Syria. So why does he feel it's so important to take this action?
Joining us now is Dr. Sebastian Gorka, Fox News national security strategist and former deputy assistant to President Trump. Doctor, you're a perfect guest for this morning. A strike like this, take us inside the mindset and decision cycle of this president as he chooses to strike Assad for the second time.
Well, first things first, Peter, the president is not a man of the mold of President Bush. He's not an interventionist. He's not a neoconservative. When I worked for him, he made it very clear to me that our forces invading other people's countries and occupying them is a fundamentally un-American concept. Nevertheless, he understands, as a compassionate man, that this kind of weapon used against unarmed women and children is evil, is reprehensible. Secondly, his advisors have made it clear to him, from Secretary Mattis to the new National Security Advisor and everybody in his A-team, that there is a precedent-setting issue here with Assad using these weapons repeatedly. A very, very clear message had to be sent, not only to Assad, but to his sponsors, including Russia and including Iran, and other countries that are countenancing the use of these weapons, such as potentially North Korea, that we will not allow anyone to use these weapons. He made it clear in his speech, we can't fix everything in the world, but this is a line that when you cross it, America has the capacity to respond, and we will. We are duty-bound morally to respond. And that's the decision process that led to last night's bombing raid.
But there's also such a delicate balance in it. And I wonder if you feel like this is the right balance that was made last night, because you don't want to go to war with Russia. And you have people asking, why don't you just take out Bashar al-Assad? If he's such an evil dictator, just get rid of the guy. You can't take off the head of Syria, or else we then own Syria, right? The United States has to take that over, as we did with Iraq, and we saw how that ended. 15 years of chaos. So is this the right balance? It seems like these airstrikes did send a message, but ultimately, where does this end?
Yeah, you're completely correct here. This isn't about us imposing, for example, as we tried to after 9/11, imposing our political way of doing business on a country in South Asia like Afghanistan or on the people of Iraq. This isn't about, the future of the political makeup of Syria. It's about making sure that everybody understands in the world that you cannot use these weapons. They are morally reprehensible, they are illegal, and we can't have them being used in a theater where there are multiple actors. This isn't just about Assad. These weapons could fall into the hands of all the different actors that are there, groups such as ISIS, such as Al-Qaeda, and then we have a much larger threat. Those weapons could be used against us on our soil. They could be used against our friends, whether it's Jordan, whether it's Israel. So there's a very concrete imperative for why we acted. What is the long-term future of Syria? That's another question that has nothing to do with yesterday's action.
And I want to bring you to that, Dr. Gorka, because here, June 2013, some near 3 years before he would become commander-in-chief, the president tweeted, "We should stay the hell out of Syria." Critics on the left and right will point to that as a real shift. What do you say?
Well, he still believes that, I can tell you. I mean, I've worked for him. I've spoken to him since I left the White House. He still believes that. He's not interested. And I guarantee you, Donald Trump is not a neoconservative, and he never will be. And he's not going to deploy 160,000 troops like we did into Iraq. He's not going to do that in Syria. So this isn't about our presence. He has no desire to do nation building. That's the farthest thing from his mind. So that sentiment remains. And I find it really disappointing that whether you're on the left or whether you're on the right, I mean, I've been up on Twitter all night arguing with people who say they're conservatives. Whether you're on the left or the right, you have to understand this is a different geopolitical reality. And this isn't 2003, and this isn't Iraq. This is a very different situation, but we had to act for multiple reasons.
Dr. Gorka, today we're talking about Syria, Tomorrow we could be talking about Iran and the Iran deal that may get scrapped. The next day we could be talking about North Korea. This strike sends signals in all of those theaters. What is this White House most focused on as far as a threat to this country? Is it Assad and chemical weapons? Is it the Iranian nuclear capability? Is it North Korea? Where, when they lay their head on the pillow, are they most concerned?
On the short term, the short-term issue is North Korea. But that is progressing very, very well. Remember, in 1953, we didn't have a peace treaty at the end of the Korean War. All we had, Peter, was a ceasefire and then an armistice. So that conflict has been frozen in ice for 65 years. For the first time ever, the North Koreans are prepared to speak to an American president, and those negotiations may not lead to some kind of long-lasting resolution. But the fact that they're potentially going to happen, and the word denuclearization is being used by all parties, is massive. On top of that, the threat from the global jihadi movement remains. We've done incredible things. When our military, as a former veteran, you understand it, you've spoken to your friends, when this new commander-in-chief unleashed the military to do the job they were trained to do, unlike President Obama, guess what? They did the job. We were told ISIS was a generational threat by Obama. Well, President Trump squeezed the generation down to about 6 months because the caliphate of ISIS is gone. It isn't finished. Al-Qaeda hasn't disappeared, nor has ISIS. So we have to continue now the counter-ideological threat. But that, though, right now, North Korea is right there. Syria with chemical weapons is being dealt with, and then there are longer-term threats such as Iran. And frankly, Russia remains, it's not a strategic threat, Peter, but Russia is a destabilizing force, and they've been sent a very clear message as well.
Well, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, always good to have you. I think we have you on next hour as well, so hang tight.
Stick around.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much.
All right.